Dependency versus interdependency. When you are dependent on someone else for your livelihood, your shelter, your food, anything, you are a principal candidate to be controlled. There's a lot of people in this world that simply put are slaves because they are dependent. They're not interdependent because they have not learned how to produce for themselves and provide for themselves. So you're going to be a lapdog for somebody else if you're ever in a situation where you're dependent on somebody else to provide for you. This is why it's so important to be self-sufficient, sustainable, and to be able to provide for you and your own family. Because if somebody's providing for you, i.e. the biggest provider is government, printed money out of thin air, and they charge you interest on it. But all of these people that are in government, Section 8 and government provided housing, all of these people that are dependent on cash payments from government, all of these people that are dependent on EBT and food stamps, government, and my personal belief is they're not going to cut any of this stuff. They want more people. It's the Cloward and Piven strategy. They want more people dependent on them, because when you're dependent on someone else for your livelihood, you're easily controlled. And I found that the most people that seek freedom and the people that cry out freedom the most are the most self-sufficient people that I know. And the simple reason why is that they're not dependent on anybody for their livelihood. Listen, if you're dependent on somebody else for a roof over your head, clothes on your back, and food on the table, outside of the fact that if you're a wife and you're dependent on your husband to do that for you, anything outside of that, you're in a tainted situation, because you're going to do exactly what government tells you to do. If they tell you to show up and fill out this paperwork, you're going to do it. If they tell you to do this or that and the third, you're going to do it. And the simple reason why is that you're not man enough, or you're not woman enough to provide for yourself. And it's a sad thing to see in this day and age where you have damn near 100 million people are on some form of government paycheck. I don't give a shit what kind of government paycheck it is. If you're receiving a paycheck from the government and you're dependent on that shit, it's government welfare, it's government assistance. I don't care what, it's all drawn from the same government entities. They just have different departments and different agencies that's cutting the same checks, coming from fiat currency, printed out from the Federal Reserve. That's all it is. And this is why it's so important to be self-sufficient and know how to provide for yourself, because you are a slave. You are literally a slave if you're dependent on someone else for any of these things. Now, there's a difference between dependence and interdependence, i.e. I'm dependent on you for something and you're dependent on me for something, and we balance it out because we're interdependent on each other. That is what it means to be a community-minded or family-minded or friendship or team-minded. But anything outside of that, bad situation to be in. And I'm seeing so many people today that are slipping into this situation on a yearly basis. And they don't even realize it. Some of them realize it, but most of them don't realize it. Get up off your ass and get it done. Because, hey, there are a lot of people out there that would love to control, manipulate, and dominate your life for you and decide everything for you. because they know that inevitably you're weak and you can't do any of the shit yourself. And they love it. They love it. They live for it. This is what these elites live for. What do you do? How do you deal with a man? Or what is the mentality of a man when he doesn't want for anything? That's the next thing that they go for. Power and control over others. What's the next? The greatest aphrodisiac is power and control over others. Power to manipulate, dominate, and control over them. And this is what these elites do. They got all of the money in the world. They don't want for anything. So the next step is, who can I control? Who can I dominate? Who can I live off of to keep myself propped up? This is the nature of this system, to make a slave out of you. And you love it. And you love it because they're going to give you something. But it's just going to cost you your very existence, your very dignity as a man. Sad. Hey, that's just the way it is, though. Take it easy and don't be one of them. Peace.